People like it when their reality is reinforced. They don't like it when it's questioned. Sometimes they're held in cognitive dissonance as they reject the reality they're experiencing for extended periods. When events reflect their confirmation bias again, they are relieved. So lately I have been hearing this new term called both sides-ism. Both sides-ism. And usually it's in a sort of derisive context where people don't really like it that some of the pundits and journalists out there want to hear things from both sides. They want to hear from the, left and the right and put together the information from each side, the pros and cons, the truths and the lies as they see them, may they be objective or subjective, and they try to find, as they should, the truth in between these two polar opposites, which in many ways aren't really all that different in their goals. It's usually the system to get to those goals that really separates your left from your right. Now, I consider myself independent and a bit more on the libertarian side of the spectrum, so I don't really identify with either. I find there to be good ideas on both, but if I only listened to either the right, the left, I should say, or the right, in the videos it's reversed, I would only get half the story, and that would make my position rather limited. I wouldn't have all the information required, and I could be easily fooled by taking a strictly partisan stance. So people like it when their reality is reinforced. Hey, it feels good to know that you had it right. There's so many questions out there. It's good to have a place, rhetorically speaking, where you feel like at least you understand what's going on, there's no confusion. It's a good place for you to rest cognitively. It's comfortable. That's why echo chambers form so easily, and they're so they can be so fortified because people, enjoy having their confirmation bias reconfirmed. Oh, I had that right. Good. This is what I believe. This is my entire belief system. Because if you can't really, fortify and lock down your belief system, some people are always in search, that intellectual pursuit of knowledge and trying to learn new things, and they don't want to settle down. But a lot of people really do enjoy just having a set worldview and very clearly defined values. And I have some of those of my own. I do take an almost absolute position on certain issues, as I'm sure you do too. And of course, leave me a comment below with your positions, thoughts, and observations, and we can start the dialogue from there. But they don't like it when their reality is questioned, because they might have spent 10, 20, 30 years, or maybe even a year or two, since they learned about the subject that you're discussing. They might have spent this whole time developing a very concrete view of reality as it pertains to this subject. So when you introduce a bit of new information, of course, cognitive dissonance kicks in, and their first reaction is to reject it, throw it right out. And of course, sometimes they're right, and sometimes they're wrong to do that. It depends on the credibility of the information. It depends on the veracity. It depends on how much truth, observable truth, is held within. I'm not talking about mind reading. I'm not talking about, baseless conjecture here. I'm talking about empirical evidence. So yes, of course, they are sometimes held in cognitive dissonance. They are, new information's coming in, and they are rejecting it. They don't want their concrete reality to be questioned. They have a confirmation, their confirmation bias of what is true. And it's going to take a little more than just new information to shake them of that. They need to be persuaded to the new perspective. But it is their default position, and mine, and pretty much almost everybody's, to stick with what you know, what has been confirmed. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, as they say, and there's definitely merit to that saying. Now, if they reject the reality they're experiencing for extended periods, and they're only looking at, one side and all that, yeah, they might not like both sides. They might call it both Sides-ism, which should really be called like reality. Reality has two or more sides. Doesn't have just one angle that everybody subscribes to, because we have 7 billion different philosophies, 7 billion different purviews and perspectives on reality as human beings on this level of awareness. So, naturally we're going to disagree, and we're going to see things differently, and we're going to look at the same sentence with two sets of eyes and interpret it differently. It's just the way it is. And so it's important that we allow as much information as possible in the dialogue and in the internet, for example, or in the world. We shouldn't be censoring ideas, even if they're uncomfortable, even if these ideologies can't be agreed with. They should be presented for debate and let people think about them, discuss them, break them down, point out their flaws, point out their merits, and look at it like that. So when events reflect their confirmation bias again, they are relieved. Feels good, because I thought that would happen. I predicted it. And that feels great. Of course it does. Does for me, does for you. But we do have to understand that, sometimes we have a long-held truth that might not be as true as we thought. And I always like to question everything for that reason. Question authority. And I say, think for yourself. And of course, don't accept every narrative that's thrown at you, because people do expect, the prophets of the modern religion, that is institutions, they expect you to listen to everything they say because they have credentials. They have media credentials, state credentials, and they expect you, academic credentials, to just accept their word. They expect you to appeal to their authority. Okay? So you need to question these people, because they expect you not to question them because of their position in society or in the institutional world. Institutions are just people. Okay? So I say that celebrity is also a modern religion. People can put a lot of faith into celebrities and institutional figures and cast aside reason in the process. May it be for a quest for moral virtue, or if it's for some other reason. Whatever it might be, it might just be fear controlling them. And that's how they do it. They fearmonger, they put the fear in you, and then you do whatever they want. May it be good or bad in the grand scheme of things. So, while it might feel good to to have your confirmation reconfirmed again and again, the same information pass through your neural pathways again and again, I would recommend taking a pro-information approach and questioning what you hear and see and listening to both sides. Okay? Don't be afraid of both sides-ism. All right? Just another linguistic term that undermines intellectualism.